SoundOff, Louisiana's premier television sports talk show, is on deck from the Caesars Sportsbook at Horseshoe Lake Charles. The three wise guys are mic'd up and ready. SoundOff begins now.
So happy to be back with you once again. Another great show coming to you from Caesars Sportsbook. This is SoundOff. Of course, we got the big three covered, or maybe the big four. We got football, basketball, and baseball. And yeah, we're going to get into some NHL hockey.
Yes.
Hey there, sir. Welcome in, our resident hockey expert for this week, by the way.
I don't think you have to be much for that.
Not around here. That is Jim
Hockey's
Gazzola.
one of those things I wish I knew more about.
Me too. We'll get into more of that a little bit later.
enjoy
Jim
it.
Gazzola sitting in for Kevin
By the way,
Gidney.
Long, this is the first time we've had you on the show since you wrote the wonderful story about us in Lanyard.
That is true. Thank you for that. Good work, sir.
Very nice.
Yeah, celebrating our 30 years and
Better than we deserved.
Oh, we all write fiction.
thanks for writing some fiction about
Dabble
it.
in fiction.
Gazzola sitting in for Kevin Gidry. He's off this
fiction
week,
is
of
the
course.
expense account.
Jim Gazzola. Again, I'm just going to talk over these knuckleheads. Jim Gazzola from Poke Nation, CBS Lake Charles, also from Pokecast, and Pokeyman. Is that a new show you're putting on? Pokeyman.
No, we're not.
And of course, American Press, the newspaper, of course. All right, guys, Hobbs and Sarah along with you. It's going to be a great show. Let's get things kicked off. College basketball. The McNeese Cowboys captured regular season championship number 2 under Will Wade. They did it in fine fashion. I mean, a romp, 35-point win over Rio Grande Valley. Still, regular season championship, still 2 more road games to go. But this was impressive. We sat next to each other in press row.
One,
Yeah.
for sure.
This one, the second half felt like it should be.
Yeah.
They really put it on them. They looked like when they get into open games and they can run, they're a very good offensive
right.
team. When they bog down in the half court, they're stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for them that's what the rest of the league gets them to do of the good teams, and that's why it's not. This is no cakewalk coming to the conference.
No, it isn't. Scooter, they had, here's a twist in college basketball that you're seeing across the country. They technically celebrated senior night with 8 seniors, okay? 7 or 8. Half of them are going to get that year back.
6 of
We
them.
talked about how many?
6 of the 8.
Yeah, I don't
6
know
of the
how
8
you ever figure seniors. I mean, if you take a sophomore who's going to the portal, do you bring his
Gonna get a
parents
year.
out
You got
there?
this new junior college deal. Let's run through the list real quick. Javon Garcia, he's coming back. Joe Charles
Could be back.
could be back. Sincere Parker, it's a given.
Back.
Because he did junior college.
If both sides want him, he'll be back.
Allen Breed needs to play some basketball. He'll be back.
He's got 2 years now.
He's got 2 years because of the injury and that whole thing. Who am I forgetting now?
Bryant Salabange.
Salamanca.
He has 1 more year left.
Yeah.
Will Wade.
Presumably back unless one of 2 or 3 jobs open. I've been told.
You got to sneak that one in. I wasn't going there.
And let's put it
celebrate
this way. If he's not back, I don't think any of them are back.
Or any of them back. All right, look, this is a basketball team that celebrating, a couple of 1,000 guys. Christian Shoemate, not coming back.
He cannot come back. He
come
is
back.
the definite.
McNeese's first 1,000 guys.
You never know.
You never know.
1,000 points, 1,000 career rebounds, like 100 assists, 100 this. DJ Richards on Monday night got his 1,000 career point.
Yeah.
So a lot going on around this team.
There is, and Copeland set a milestone for assists the other day.
Yeah.
So this is a team that's extremely interesting in an individual parts. I don't think the overall package has come together as quick as people thought it would.
Yeah.
But individually, it's better than they had last year. It's just not collectively yet.
Look, you remember last year, Will Wade, first year. Promise, guaranteed 23 wins. Remember? I'm going to win more than the Cowboys lost the year before. All right, so he did. He got 30. This year, now he's up to 23 wins. How impressed are you?
Oh, very.
I mean, 23.
But what does that matter? And I
What
say
does that matter? I don't understand
this team
the
is
point.
ultimately going to be judged. The regular season title won't mean much if you don't win the tournament.
Yeah.
No. All right.
They're not looking for
I
the
don't
NIT
think
bid.
that's right. But in a one-bid league, But every league does it, and I've railed about that before,
Yep.
and nobody listens to me. But they've already clinched where they got 3 games to go, right?
2 games.
Two
They have 2 games. Women
2
have 3.
games. Do you start preparing for that tournament now, or do you what?
I think he's been preparing for the tournament for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
But he
that
takes
would
it
be-
one game because
So
he's
how do
pre-
you do that?
because he knows because of his schedule is set up to where he's playing the best 4 teams the last 4 games.
Yeah.
Essentially. Or the hottest with Stephen
The
F.
hottest, yeah.
And so I think he likes it as this is an opportunity for me to scout them while they still have to scout other people to get in.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity for him. But that's not the issue is they have the benefit of 2 home games and go. And they've only lost 1 time in 30 games now on a home floor with him as the coach. That's what he likes. I don't think it's fair either, but the league does protect the best 2 seeds a lot by putting them in the semifinals.
I mean, look, there are two,
I think that's,
2
I
buys
think,
and in the
I think-
semis.
I think the more you can protect in a 1-bid league, the
Yeah.
better.
The value
Yeah.
of the regular season championship.
And they're the only legitimate one of them that can win a game.
And look, you said it best. This is a Southland, and we talked about it the last couple of weeks. They're better. This is a league that
It's
is
up to
better.
21. It's from
Especially
29
the
to
top-
21,
Yeah,
yeah.
the top 4 or 5. It's not going to be a cakewalk in the tournament. You never know. But this has been a weird little wonky season. I mean, they've gone through stretches that they looked a little up and downish. They've gone through stretches of games, and even in the games, that they're very, very good. You mentioned about the transition
last night.
game. Last night, very, very good. They seem to get behind. They were behind on UNO.
Yeah, they get bogged down.
They get bogged down, but when they get to running, once they get the rhythm, they can come back and beat them. But this has been an interesting, weird year.
Well, the way to beat them is shoot threes.
Yeah.
And
boy,
the
they
whole league
fire 'em
shoots
up.
threes, and they fire them. Nobody fires them more than last
No,
night.
no.
They lead the country in 3-point attempts, and to try to mug them in the paint.
Yeah.
And
Physical.
that bogs down
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
And if they hit the threes, now McNeese can't get out and run. What we saw last night was they hit Rio Grande Valley hit 4 of their first 5 threes.
Yeah.
So
And then
now
they- and then they couldn't hit anything,
McNeese
yeah.
has to go into their half court.
Yeah.
When they started missing, McNeese could get out and run.
Get out and run.
You saw the dunks come.
Yeah.
You saw the athleticism come, and they blew them out.
And then you
That's
see
it.
Joe Charles, who I just love his game. Just the
Yeah.
gritting. I mean, he does all the things, the tipping of balls out of the air. He's always in a position to get a rebound, it seems, either garbage or good rebound. He's just a great an all-around player. I said this, we talked about it last week. I said it on Twitter and I said it on this show. I'm still concerned about late in games free throws. They were good Monday, but even the best of shooters, they have a tendency to miss
I'm more
them.
concerned about lackadaisical play in game. That all of a sudden they're going to be down 18 and not be able to come back.
And not be able to come
There,
back.
there are teams that can make runs on them. That's going to be if they come focused, they'll win. If
Yeah.
they don't come focused,
You said that last week, right?
Shouldn't
Wake
the
up. Wake up.
shouldn't the lackadaisicalness?
Ness?
Is that a word?
well, we're seeing it more and more.
Shouldn't that go away when you get to the conference tournament?
We
and
are seeing
everything's on the line?
seeing better play the last 2 weeks. We're seeing shoemate play better. We're seeing
Yeah.
more aggressiveness.
More
We're
aggressive.
seeing more desperation. Yeah.
Yeah, Lamar and Stephen F. Austin are the 2 road games before they get into the tournament. Of course, the Southland, that gig is coming up the week of March 10th at the Legacy Center. All right, first time out. Much more to come. Stay right here.
There's nothing better than a game. A great tasting Miller Lite. It's less filling, Miller Lite. Tastes great.
Never understood this argument. Let it be both. Miller and Miller. I like it.
What's bugging you?
Is it roaches? They're the first pest you think of for indoor bugs and a health threat. At J&J, we offer weapons to eliminate and prevent infestation of your home or business. Let us take care of what's bugging you. Contact us today for a free inspection.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
All right, welcome back. Remember, the mystery reward multiplier win free credit still going on for the rest of the month of February. What you do, you get that Caesars reward card, get the swipe, then you come down and find a promotional kiosk on the gaming floor. You swipe that cash record, that Caesars rewards card, you got a chance to win 100 times credit. And of course, Horseshoe, Lake Charles, the only casino in the region that offers you 100 times odds on craps. The only one right here at Horseshoe Lake Charles. All right, Jim Gazzola sitting in for Mr. Guidry, Hobbs, and Cerro here. Let's talk some Saints football, and don't knock around my helmet. Let's keep it steady. Kellen Moore, he's filling out the staff. It's official. We got former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley as the new DC. Former Eagles quarterback coach Doug Nussmeier coming down as the OC. Let's start with defense. Let's leave Staley's little weirdness thing as the Chargers head coach, all right? Let's leave that aside. He was a good
refresh my memory.
Well, he was a little odd with the let's gamble on every fourth down, and none of them worked out. He just never could
Also the overtime situation with the Raiders.
Oh my God.
He goes in the overtime and can't lose.
Yeah, that's right. But as DC for the LA Rams under Sean McVay, he led the league in some top-tier categories.
The defensive coordinator doesn't get to go for it on fourth down.
That's correct, sir. We're safe on that.
He doesn't make that decision.
I think it's he brought in Kellen Moore when the Cowboys fired Moore. He brought him to the Chargers as his OC. Now Moore's returning the favor. I think Staley's a good coach. I think he's a good coach. He's not like Dennis Allen. Put him where he belongs, DC.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid hire.
Yeah.
He's got track record.
Yeah, well, you never know how an assistant coach is going to work out.
No, you don't.
But I don't know what the argument against him would be.
I wouldn't.
I'll turn it over to Jim.
I wouldn't have an argument.
I would say the only question you have is, does he accept the role now that he's been a head coach? That's always the big question. But no, he has a solid track record. But he had very good players in LA.
He did.
He had 2 All-Pros on the defensive line. He had an All-Pro in the secondary.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have that in New Orleans. So
let's get into that. All right. So he's known as a 3-4 guy.
Yeah.
I kind of lean toward the standard. I like 4-3. I just like 4 down linemen, and not because the Eagles use 4 down linemen to win a Super Bowl. I just like the 4-3. Hobbs, if he's going to run a 3-4, he might need to rekindle the Dome Patrol linebacker.
When you turn on an
gotta have
NFL
linebackers.
game, do you immediately recognize whether it's a 4-3 or
I do.
3-4? I just see a bunch of guys ganged
I
up
do.
at the line.
They're moving around a lot.
I got to agree with you. You're in a situation where one of your linemen on the end is always a speed guy anyway.
Well, yeah.
So that's almost like a 3-4 anyway.
Yeah.
And realistically, you're in a different defense almost every play.
Yeah,
So-
but when they get in the situation with the 3-4 and they're only sending 3, you see it.
Well, you almost always
You
have to
see-
send a linebacker in a 3-4. If you don't, that's an issue.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying they have a
Don't
tendency
the
in
offense
3-4.
is in trouble.
They'll drop those guys in coverage, and then you got 3 guys rushing the quarterback, and I don't see how 3 guys can get to a quarterback. That's Staley's deal. He's a 3-4 guy. Let's see if he has the personnel to do it. I don't know. I don't think they do.
What is his personnel?
I don't have
What's
my
going to
belt.
be
Bring it back.
dropped? What's going to be cut? There's a
know.
lot of decisions that have
lot.
been made above the defensive coordinator on that team.
Yes.
That team will be run by whatever they can bring in.
We're going to get to that in a minute. So let's first go to the Doug Nussmeier hire as OC. All right, he's been a collegiate OC. I had to refresh my memory under Sarkisian at Washington, under Saban in Alabama.
Yeah.
An actual OC, okay?
Yeah.
He won a title at Alabama. The guy's got pedigree. I mean, we talk about Doug Nussmeier a lot, okay? Short stint in the NFL, but never an OC in the NFL. Quarterback coach.
But
offensive
if you're
assistant.
a quarterback coach, aren't you almost like an OC?
Yeah.
I mean,
you're maybe even more important than the OC at times.
I don't know. Was
Yeah.
Kerry Joseph, he was a quarterback coach in Chicago? He wasn't.
That situation is not a good situation.
Well, I'm just throwing that out there.
They didn't have an OC.
Man,
that
I'm
was
just
the
throwing that
problem.
out there.
They didn't have an OC. That was the issue.
That's true. They didn't have one.
It obviously leads to, is his son going to play in New Orleans? That's what everybody wants to know.
It's a good question, but we'll leave that there. Let me say this in regards to.
well, you know, if the Saints don't draft a quarterback this year,
You'll know they're leaning that way.
That's right about it. All right.
Leaning that way.
All right. You talk about look, pretty soon, now that Moore's got the staff filled out, he and Mickey Loomis got to get busy and start, and the staff on this roster, and how aggressive they're going to be in free
Well, I don't
agency.
think that opens up until after the combine, right?
I'm just saying, you got free agency starting up in mid-March. You got to start planning who's out
Yeah.
there. You know the names that are floating out there. They can't afford any of them. Okay? What I'm saying is, staff is good. You just said it. Both guys. Who's going to play this 3-4, 4-3, whatever defense?
That's your question is who. Better yet, how are you going to pay for it?
How are you going to pay for it?
This is a team that doesn't have any money. It's going to have to make decisions, big decisions.
You mean doesn't have any money under the cap?
Under the cap.
For the 34th consecutive year, the Saints have no prayer because of the cap. But it always works out. I have never figured out how, what kind of money laundering, sleight of hand, three-card money is going on.
You say it works out. It works out in the end because they're not officially over the cap. They don't get fined. But look at the state of the roster. It's not really working out. The state of the roster is
it keeps getting older every year.
It's insane.
You're going to have to make some major cuts.
Yeah, let's shift to college football. This meeting in New Orleans, it was, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, the SEC and the Big Ten only in New Orleans last week.
Yeah.
That's the only one in college football that matters now, isn't it?
Yeah, and maybe I'm naive, but I'm trusting Greg Sankey. I know Greg Sankey. I don't know the Big Ten guy, obviously, but I know Greg Sankey fairly well, and I hope they can push their weight around. Let's face it. I hope they're looking at the good of the game and not just the domination of the Big Ten and the SEC.
And what do you think is the negative maneuverings that you think could happen? They want 4 guaranteed? You think that's not good for the game? Because that's their goal, right?
4
automatic qualifiers from each of those leagues.
That's a little high.
It is a little high.
I mean, and
I don't think there were 4 guaranteed last year in both leagues.
Huh?
I don't think there were 4 worthy in both leagues. But where else are you going to get them from?
There might be, and there's nothing to keep 4 out.
That's right.
But I don't. When you start mandating it, and it gets a little.
And you're going to go into. You still have to give other people a chance at the pie. Mm-hmm. So do you go to 16?
Oh God.
And then you've got half of it. Okay, if you go to 16,
that won't work. They'll say, "Well, should we go to 42?"
Yeah, and that's where you get into. What are you doing, and how much have you watered down the regular season?
All right, so as we go to break,
well, I'm off that.
The SEC and Big Ten, is it, you think, if you say Sankey, is it we want 4 automatic and also we want the seedings to change or both? You think one or the other or both? From a power play standpoint.
I think the seeding will be changed because everybody agrees it didn't really work last year. But are you going to base it on 1 year?
Yeah, I say
the seeding will change no matter what,
yeah.
And I think both will get their guaranteed 4.
Yeah, we're going to have more of this discussion in the Thursday show later on in the week. We're going to take a break. Time. We're coming right back with some more SoundOff. Stay right there.
What's bugging you?
Is it ants? They're crazy, tiny, irritating pests outside trying to get in. At J&J, we offer weapons to locate, eliminate, and prevent their entering your home or business. Let us take care of what's bugging you. Contact us today for a free inspection.
Coors Banquet, the same brewing tradition since 1873. When you're the favorite beer of rock stars and cowboys, you don't compromise. That's our legacy. What do you want to go down in history for? Start your legacy. Coors Banquet.
There's nothing better than a game and great tasting Miller Lite. It's less filling, Miller Lite. Tastes great.
Never understood this argument. Let it be both. Miller and Miller. I like it.
Back to Caesars Sportsbook, Horseshoe, Lake Charles. You want to do your sports gaming, you go to the icon, the legend, that is Caesars Sportsbook. You want freebies, you want great promotions, you want free stuff in your sports betting, it's Caesars Sportsbook right here at Horseshoe Casino. That's where we come with SoundOff. We want to let you know about that. And of course, some exciting events and promotions in the month of March. Keep it here or go on the Horseshoe Lake Charles website and you will find out about that as well. All right, coming up on next week's show. That's next week. We got to look forward to March spring football. We've got 2 new guys on the show, first ever. That's going to be the Cowboys' new offensive coordinator, Tyler Bolfing, will join us. And Tony Pecoraro, the returning defensive coordinator, will come in next week, talk about spring, talk about working with Matt Viator and the like. That'll be fun. That is next week. We're going to pick their brains about spring games. Hold that for next week, because everybody's got an opinion of spring games, good or bad. We'll talk to those coaches Do they like it or not?
You know what I think about it?
Let's go back to this college football deal. There's meetings going on this week in Dallas. So we've already talked about the SEC and the Big Ten want 4 automatic qualifiers. They want the seeding changes. Another thing that I think is still in play here, because we've argued about it, is these conferences, will they go to 9 conference games? I say they should go. Quick, round table.
I have no problem with it, but I'm not a nut about it.
Why?
Well, if I thought going to 9 conference games would get rid of the mismatch, the games,
the guaranteed money games, okay, all right,
the guarantee games. So I thought it would get rid of them. It wouldn't. It just will probably get rid of the more high-profile non-conference games. I'm guessing.
It could, yeah.
And I like good non-conference games. And if you go to 9, it gives them an excuse not to play them. But if they want to go to 9, I'm not going to protest.
Let me throw this at it. To even the playing field, does every major conference, even some group of 5, have to go to 9?
I would love to see it, but I agree with you. Here's the problem with it. McNeese isn't going to get his $1 million buy.
That's right.
Yeah. Games like that are not going to exist. What does that do to the second level? That would immediately impact the second level of college football financially.
Right. Certainly.
That would also demand, because you got a lot of teams that want to pick up a second money game to basically pay off the fine that they're having to pay for the NIL.
Right.
So now, what have you done to them? You've now almost doubled your 2-tier football. And you're forcing the smaller schools to play who to make their money.
I don't have that answer.
That's it.
I have long said, if that's what they have to do, play these, mismatch games, they need a new business model.
I agree with that.
But I don't have the answer.
And
to
maybe
what
it
that
is. Maybe it is a 12th game for FCS, and you play a 12th game, so everybody's guaranteed 6 home games. That might help offset it.
I have been in support of McNeese, and you call it the second level, to have 12 games every year.
I think you will.
I don't think that's a big.
They would have to start their season, what is now known kind of as week 0.
Yeah.
They would have to start them because they, it seems like the FCS playoffs has a lot of downtime though.
Yeah,
they can
terribly run.
The whole FCS month off, whatever it may be. Hey, before we get into this NHL hockey twist of a story, NFL the salary cap's going to like $281 million. Derek Carr has said, we talked about the St. Derek Carr has said, I'm not taking a pay cut. Now, he's hinted that he'll restructure his deal. I don't blame the man for, I'm not going to take a pay cut, but I'll restructure.
There's going to be a whole lot. You may get a bigger cut than that.
Well, you're right, but they're going to have to restructure. I'm talking about the Saints.
On the one hand,
I don't blame him.
On the one hand, the Saints couldn't see this coming when they gave him that contract.
It's not that big of a deal, though. He's making 35. I know he's not he's not top 10, but he's middle-tier quarterback. He's middle-tier money.
He's an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he's middle-tier.
He's a middle-tier quarterback on a lower-tier offensive team, and that's not going to get you anything. So why are you paying him? Develop somebody young.
All right, let's stay in New Orleans. This was a legitimate report out of ESPN that some cats went up to New York to meet with NHL, the National Hockey League, Gary Bettman, say, we want an expansion team in New Orleans. What are they drinking? How many
that New Orleans water is
That's a few hurricanes.
That's a whole lot of hurricanes
in town.
You're talking about the drink, not the storm.
Yes.
I don't see this.
No.
I don't, but this was a legitimate report.
New Orleans demographics don't really work for the NBA. No. I don't know much about the NBA.
I agree with you.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
New Orleans with 3 pro franchises?
No.
NFL, NBA, and NHL? No way.
NFL's a no-brainer, no problem.
No-brainer.
NBA is very iffy to me.
Very iffy.
Because they're not winning.
Number one, that team may never win, but even if it does, I don't know.
They've lost 2 teams.
Yeah.
New Orleans has lost 2 teams.
Yeah.
They were on the cusp of possibly losing the Saints at one time.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't see the NHL being a big winner there.
No.
especially when you have a city like Houston within 2 hours from here. That's a bigger city with a more.
Atlanta wants an NHL team. Houston, Phoenix wants another one to come back. Kansas City,
all of those cities are overrun with permanent snowbirds, I guess you'd call it, people who've migrated south.
And didn't work. And they didn't work.
And they didn't work.
And they didn't work.
And they didn't work. Nothing against the NHL. I love the NHL in person. I've gone to NHL games. It's a great sport live. You have too.
Oh, I love the NHL.
I just have I don't know who the delegation that went up there was.
I don't know either.
But I can just imagine there at the NHL office, they're saying, who's out in the lobby waiting to talk to us? Who?
The flag is up. We got to hit this break. Round 4, final round of the show. Stay right here. We're coming back.
Coors Banquet, the same brewing tradition since 1873. When you're the favorite beer of rock stars and cowboys, you don't compromise. That's our legacy. What do you want to go down in history for? Start your legacy. Coors Banquet.
What's bugging you?
Is it termites? The season is now and they are swarming. At J&J Exterminating, we offer some very effective weapons against infestation of your home or business. Let us take care of what's bugging you. Don't wait. Contact us now for a free inspection.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right, welcome back. One closing note on this whole hockey thing in New Orleans. Hockey, Ice Pirates was great while it lasted in the local market.
I always wanted, it was a lot of fun. Everybody enjoyed it.
The ice
what amazed me was how many of those Ice Pirates hung around.
Ice Pirates in Lafayette.
Jamie Dunn, Bobby Wallwork still around.
Set
there
records.
Some others.
Set records East Coast. But that's minor league. That's smaller market, not in New Orleans. All right. Magnies baseball and the Cowgirls softball off to a good start. I think Cowgirls are 10-4 baseball. Our show production was prior to the Magnies ULL baseball game at the Joe. Win or lose, though, Jim, I think Justin Hill has them off to a pretty good start.
Better pitching than they expected. A lot of that could be cold weather, though. Let's wait and see.
Good point. Look,
it was cold.
Yeah, you covered the game. Very cold. Best start since 20. Does he have the roster to make a run here? I'm talking about Justin Hill. Do you think? Got a lot of moving parts.
I want to see some things. There's a lot of newcomers. I want to see some things. I think the offense is there. I think they have some offense. They have some power. But I got to see the arms. They do have 3 left-handers they can start. And they have 5 left-handers in the bullpen. That's something they haven't had.
They have not had that. Scooter. I mean, they're going to play 7 games and they get in the Southern Conference play. I mean, wham, bam, they're already in conference play.
Yeah,
coming up this weekend with Nichols.
I
guess that's quick. Am I losing it?
Well, they have an open weekend, don't they, during conference play because of an odd number of teams.
And they want the double tournament.
Yeah, and then the A&M, they cancel A&M weather. The game at College Station was canceled. When does LSU start SEC play? Is it that coming up that quickly?
They have 2 more weekends.
2 more and then the SEC? Okay. All right. Jim Gazzola, thanks for sitting in. You'll be back on the Thursday show sitting in for Kevin Guidry. That's Hobbs and Sarah. Been fun. We'll see you next time right here at CBS Lake Charles.